Thank
Woo! All
you.
right.
Woohoo. Awesome. Good morning. Welcome to Saturday morning yoga. It's a beautiful morning out today. We're going to go ahead and do a vinyasa flow, dynamic stretching and strengthening. Take whatever modifications throughout the practice you'd like for yourself. There might be some more intermediate advanced poses throughout the practice. So no worries. If you can't do everything, just try your best and um, have a good time. We're going to go ahead and get started in a thunderbolt position, sitting our hips on our heels towards the back of the mat, straightening the spine out long, taking a nice deep inhale. And a slow exhale out, maybe allowing the gaze to soften or the eyes to close. Slowing down the breath here, beginning with a yogic breath, breathing deep into the belly, filling the air up into the ribs and then up into the chest, a three-part breath, belly, ribs, chest. And then exhaling from the chest, from the ribs, and from the belly. If you'd like, you could place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, feeling the rise and fall of the breath. We're just going to take a few breaths here to really calm the mind, to bring us internal and to this present moment. So just for now, becoming mindful of a nice, slow, deep breath as you inhale deeply and exhale slowly. Releasing the hands whenever you're ready, just coming to place them on the knees. We're going to take another deep inhale, open the chest forward, pull the head, the chin up, opening into a seated cow. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin in towards the chest, pull those shoulders towards each other. Inhale, open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades, really arc through the spine, pull the chest forward and up. Exhale, round it out. So just adding a little movement here with your breath. Inhale, opening the chest. And exhale, releasing. One more. Inhale, open. And exhale, release. Inhale, opening the chest forward. We're just going to allow the chest to fall over the knees here, extending the hands all the way forward into a child's pose. Really reach those fingertips. Take a nice deep inhale. On the exhale, we're just going to lift through the hips and then allow them to drop as the chest comes open. We're going to add movement. So lift the hips, pull the hips all the way back into a child's pose. Inhale, lift the hips, and on the exhale, drop them forward, open the chest, and just add this movement, pushing the hips back, rounding the spine. Inhale, forward, drop the hips, open the chest. Exhale, push the hips back, round the spine. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead from here and come up onto our knees, tucking the back toes behind us to get a nice toe stretch. We're going to sit on those heels. Inhale, reaching arms up nice and long. On the exhale, the left hand comes down to the ground and the right hand reaches over, gazing up, stacking those shoulders. Inhaling back up through center. And exhale, right hand comes down, left arm reaches over. Inhaling back up through center. Wonderful. We're just going to place the hands out in front of us, lift the hips, and go ahead and drop the hips back down to the ground, opening the chest up. Squeeze those glutes together, squeezing the shoulder blades together. We're in a cobra. Extend through the elbows. Inhale. And on the exhale, tuck the back toes. We're going to lift the hips right up into a downward facing dog. You can go ahead and pedal out the feet if you'd like. Add some movement here. Really trying to reach those hips as high as you can, chest falling back towards the legs. Wonderful. We're going to add some more movement here. So make sure feet are hip distance apart. We're going to bend the knees, hover them above the ground. And then inhale, lift it back up. Come back to a downward facing dog. Bending the knees, hovering them, and lifting it back up. Exhale, bend the knees, hover. Lifting back up. Bending the knees, hover. We're going to hover for a little bit here. And then just drop the knees down. We're coming right into a tabletop position. Let's just start with the wrist, pointing the fingertips back towards ourselves, pressing the bottoms of the palms into the ground. You can just gently move the hips back a little bit, straightening through the elbows. And then switching over so that we're coming onto the back of our hands here and just gently pushing the hips back, fingertips pointing back towards you. So important to stretch out the wrists. We put a lot of pressure on them in our yoga practice. Coming back through tabletop, we're going to find a nice even tabletop, shoulders stacked over the wrist, hips stacked over the knees. From here, we're going to extend straight through the right leg, toes press into the ground. We're just going to press into that heel. Inhale, we'll lift the right leg straight up behind us. We're going to take some cat-cows with our knees. So we're going to inhale, bend the knee in towards the chest, round the spine, and then we're going to kick the foot back, open the chest up. Pull the knee in, round the spine. Inhale, open the chest, knee points up. Pull it in. One more time, open the chest, really extend that leg behind you. We'll bend through that right knee and just start to draw some circles. Getting some lubrication in the hips. Perfect. We're going to switch directions with our hip circles. And then we'll extend straight through the right leg. We're going to inhale. Well, we're going to pop it over to the right side of the mat and then rainbow it over to the left. Just take this exercise a few times here. Rainbow the leg over to the right. Rainbow the leg back over to the left, outside of the mat, kind of. Perfect. We'll lift the leg, bring it all the way over to the right. So our right leg is extended out by our side here. I can turn to face you for this. We're going to go ahead, plant the right hand, inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, back down. Inhale, right arm reaches up. And as we exhale, we're going to thread that right hand under the left armpit, coming into a variation of thread the needle. Just gently allowing the side of the head to rest on the ground. We'll press back into the ground with the left hand as we inhale, reach the right arm back up. Placing both hands on the ground here, we're just going to gently sit the hips back. Our right leg is still extended out to the side. Inhaling, we'll come back into our tabletop almost and just take that right leg that's extended and bring it back out through center here. From here, we're going to tuck the left toes, keeping that right leg lifted. We're going to extend the left leg and reach the right leg up into a three-legged dog. Perfect. We'll go ahead, bend the knee, pull that right knee into the chest, step the right foot forward, drop the back knee. Inhale, reach it up into a low lunge. Let those hips sink nice and low. We'll exhale, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, and we're just gonna step that right leg back to our downward facing dog. We're gonna start again with some knee hovers. So we'll bend the knee and hover and extend it back out to down dog. Bending the knees, hover, extend back out to downward facing dog. Exhale, we bend the knees and hover and extend back up to downward facing dog. One more time, bending the knees, hover, feeling your core engage, navel pulling back towards the spine. We'll exhale, release the knees down right into a tabletop position again. We're gonna go ahead and take this to the other side. Left leg extends those toes into the ground. We're just gonna press into that heel. We'll extend this left leg up above the ground. We're gonna add our cat-cow, so we'll bend the knee, round in the chest, pull that knee in towards the chest, and then we'll extend it back behind us, open the chest, lift the gaze. Pull the knee in and extend it out, little round of the spine here as we open. Pulling in, opening up. Perfect. We're gonna take some knee circles here. So just bringing that spine back through center, starting to draw some circles with the knee. Switching direction. Wonderful. We'll extend the left leg straight out. We're gonna dip it all the way to the left side and then rainbow the leg over to the right. So we're just taking this left foot and bringing it from the left side to the right side, trying to keep the leg straight. Perfect. One more time, we'll rainbow the leg over and bring it to the left here. Extend it straight out. The foot is in line with the hips. We'll plant the left hand. Inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Exhale, this time we thread it underneath of our right armpit here. Coming to rest the head on the ground. Relax through the body. Planting the right hand here, we'll inhale, reach the left fingertips back up to the sky. Exhale, release the fingertips down, and we'll sit the hips back. Inhale, we'll come back up. Take that extended left leg and bring it back behind you. We're gonna tuck the right toes, extend straight through that leg, coming into a three-legged dog. Left toes reach up nice and high. And then we exhale, pull that knee in towards the chest, step the left foot through, drop the back knee. Inhale, reach up into a low lunge. Letting those hips sink. And then we'll exhale, plant the hands, tuck the back toes, and step that foot back to a downward facing dog. Starting to pedal out the feet here, moving it. We're gonna go ahead and take a vinyasa flow. We'll inhale, round forward into a plank position. On the exhale, we'll bend the elbows 90 degrees, pulling them into our side chaturanga. Gazing forward here, we'll inhale, lift open with the chest, upward facing dog. Exhale, we'll lift the hips back. Downward facing dog. Take a nice deep cleansing breath here into the belly. Exhale, let it go. We'll inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Stepping your feet up to your hands, releasing yourself into a forward fold with the knees bent slightly. We'll inhale, round through the spine, all the way up to standing. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, arms by your side. Just coming into a quick mountain pose or Tadasana, arms by your side, palms facing forward. Just coming to find awareness of our feet, of the toes, of all four corners of the feet planted into the mat. Tucking the pelvis here, really standing nice and tall, shoulders pulled away from the ears. Welcoming a nice deep inhale. And exhale, just feel yourself ground. We'll inhale, reach the arms up nice long overhead. On the exhale, we'll swan dive, folding from the hips into a forward fold. On the inhale, we'll place our hands on our shins and halfway lengthen through the spine. Exhale, forward fold, plant the hands. We're stepping back to a plank position. Inhaling, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Wonderful. Taking a nice deep breath here. We're going to go ahead and start. We're going to come up onto our toes in our downward facing dog. And then we're just going to let the heels fall to the right. And keeping our shoulders centered, we're going to let the hips also fall towards the right. So you should be in a little twist here. We're falling towards the right with the hips. We're going to come right into a side plank. Left arm reaches up. Your feet are kind of staggered here. We're going to take the front left leg, draw it right behind the right leg, stepping it kind of back. And we're going to inhale, lift the hips up into a wild thing pose. Opening the chest, reaching those left fingertips forward. We'll exhale, come out of the wild thing back to a side plank. Lifting that left leg, keeping the knee bent, we'll come back into a plank position and step the left foot through between the hands. Perfect. We're going to keep the back knee lifted here. Sink nice and low with the hips, chest, and gaze go forward. On the exhale, we'll push the hips back, keeping those toes pointed, the front toes pointed, our hips square. We'll release the chest. Add some movement. We'll inhale, sink low into a lunge. Exhale, push the hips back, straighten both legs. Inhale, forward. Exhale, push back, straighten both legs. Inhale, forward. Exhale, push it back. Perfect. Make sure the hips are really square here. You can even flex the front toes here. We're just going to bend the back knee, dropping it onto the ground, coming into a half split. We really want to try to keep the hips square, so pull that right hip forward, left hip back. We'll inhale, lengthen through the spine, and we'll exhale, release our chest over the extended leg. We'll inhale, come up. We're going to come forward, bending through the front knee. Inhale, reach up high into a low lunge. If you'd like, you can allow the hands to fall back as you open the chest here a little bit deeper. We'll inhale, come forward with the hands, framing the feet. We're going to tuck the back toes and then ground the back heel, pointing those back toes to the long side of the mat. From here, we'll inhale, cartwheel the arms up into a warrior two position. Getting a nice 90-degree bend through that front knee, getting nice and low. Arms are parallel to the ground, gazing over the front fingertips. Really feel the strength of that front left leg. Perfect. From here, we're going to allow the left fingertips to come in front of the left toes as we lift off the back right leg, coming into a half moon position. These are great positions to use blocks or books if you need some extra support with the hands. But we want to just try to stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Sorry, it's a bit hard to balance and talk and think about running at the same time. Perfect. Our half moon, we're gonna go ahead, plant the right fingertips, squaring the hips down to the ground, keeping that right leg lifted behind us. Taking some warrior three squats here. We're gonna bend that right leg back behind the left leg, bending both knees, lowering to the ground. Inhale, extend back up, warrior three variation. Exhale, bending both knees, squatting down, and extending back up into warrior three. Bending the knees, extending back out, just being very mindful and slow with this movement, bending both knees, lowering, extending back out. One more. We'll bend that right knee into the left, bending the left. And extend it straight out. Perfect. We're just going to fold the chest over the left leg as the right toes reach as high as they can. And then we'll exhale, release the right toes to the ground into our forward fold. Inhaling, rounding all the way up to standing, arms overhead. And exhale, arms by your side. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead, once again, inhale, reach arms overhead. Exhale, take a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen. Exhale, fold, step it back to a plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Taking a nice deep cleansing breath here. We're going to go ahead and take the flow to the other side. Coming up nice and high onto the heels. We'll exhale, allow the heels to fall this time towards the left. Our hips start to also fall towards the left, keeping our shoulders square towards the ground here. Perfect. Allowing the hips to fall, fall, fall. We'll lift the right arm up to the sky, coming into a side plank. The front right foot is going to come behind the left leg, and we inhale, reach up into a wild thing pose. Exhale, coming back into a side plank, bending the top knee. And when you pivot back to plank, we're just going to step that right foot through between the hands. Coming into a runner's lunge here, keeping the back knee lifted. We'll gaze forward, open the chest. Exhale, straighten through the leg, push the hips back. Inhale, bending through the front knee, low with the hips, gaze forward. Exhale, push it back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, push it back. Inhale, come forward. Getting nice and low with those hips. And then we'll exhale, push the hips back, straightening through both legs. Really squaring that hip out. Feel free to flex the front toes. We're going to drop the back knee from here, coming into a half split, keeping that front leg extended straight. Inhaling, lengthening through the spine. And exhaling, folding the chest over the extended leg. Just finding a release in that hamstring. And then we're gonna go ahead, bend the knee, come forward into a low lunge. Inhale, reach the arms up. If you like, you can allow the hands to kind of reach back as you open the chest into a little back bend. Totally up to you. We'll inhale, come forward with the hands framing the foot, tucking the back toes, grounding the back heels so the hips are now open towards the long side of the mat. Inhale, we'll cartwheel into our warrior two. Really tucking the pelvis here, getting really nice and low with that front knee. Shoulders drawing away from the ears. Perfect. Feeling that strength of a warrior. We're going to go ahead and plant the right hands in front of the right foot, and you can kind of heel toe the back toes a little bit closer. And when you're ready, we're going to lift the left back toes off the ground, coming into a half moon position. I'm going to gaze down, but ultimately, you'd want to gaze up at the left fingertips. Keeping flex through the left toes, straight through the legs. We'll exhale, release the left hand down to the ground, squaring the hips out. We're in a little warrior three variation here. We're gonna bend the knee and bend the right knee as well. We're coming into a little warrior three squat before we extend back out. So bending both knees, squatting down, and extending back out. Bending both knees, squatting down, extending back out. We bend both knees, squat down, extend it back out. Once more, we bend both knees, squat nice and low, and extend it back out. We're just gonna fold in towards the right leg as the left leg reaches as high as it can before we release it down to the ground. Perfect. Releasing into a forward fold here. And inhaling all the way back up to standing, arms overhead. Exhale, release. Wonderful. We're going to go ahead from here, bring our big toes together. Heels stay apart from each other. We're going to inhale, sit the hips back, arms by your side. We're in a chair pose. Really feel the engagement of the core here. Feel your hips go nice and low. Perfect. Nice straight spine. See if you can go a little bit deeper. And then we'll inhale, straighten through the legs. Exhale, release into a forward fold. This time we're going to bend the knees generously here. And let the head and arms and neck dangle. Just let everything become nice and heavy, releasing it. Let the head be really heavy. We're going to inhale, halfway lengthen, heel toe the feet so that they're towards the outer edge of the mat, pointing them 45 degrees out. We're going to go ahead, sit the hips down into a yogic squat, using our elbows to push the knees away from each other, sitting nice and tall here. Perfect. Another deep breath. We'll plant the hands, inhale, lift the hips, pointing the toes forward, keeping the feet hip distance. We'll exhale, once again, release into a dangling pose. Bending the knees gently. We'll grab opposite elbows this time. And maybe do a little sway, side to side. Wonderful. We release the elbows. We're going to draw the feet in closer together again. Big toes together, heels apart. We'll sit the hips down. Inhale, reach the arms back up into a chair pose. Perfect. So sitting nice and low in our chair, we're going to inhale, lift up onto our tippy toes, heels come up off the ground. Sink nice and low. And we'll sink the hips all the way down to the heels. You can release the hands onto the ground or see if you want to hug your knees into your chest in a cosmic egg. Wonderful. We'll release the hands in front of us. Just come out of this. We're going to come right into a frog pose to open the hips. So I'm going to come to face the long side of the mat so I have enough space for my knees. We're just going to start in a tabletop. You can keep the toes together if you'd like, and just start by spreading the knees out as wide as you can. So you can just stay here on your hands, or if you'd like to go a little bit more intense with the stretch, you can bring the ankles to be in line with the knees, flexing the toes. And we're really just going to let gravity pull our hips down here. We want to make sure our hips are in line with our knees, our ankles are in line with our knees. You can also come down onto your elbows if you'd like. Taking a few breaths here, allowing the knees to open. And you can also add some movement too if you'd like, maybe lowering the chest down and inhaling, opening the chest, pressing it up. Get a nice little cobra back bend here. Wonderful. Just another deep breath. And then we'll gently bring our feet back together, come back onto our heels. We're just going to sit down onto our bum, open our legs out this time wide into a dragonfly position. Perfect. Just sitting nice and tall here. We'll inhale, reach the arms up. On the exhale, the right arm reaches over to the left toes, stacking the shoulders. Inhaling back up. Exhale, right, left fingertips go reach for the right toes. Inhaling back up. And then we're just going to exhale, gently allow our chest to fall forward between the legs. We really want to think about allowing the stomach to fall to the ground before the chest. So if you can't fall very far, that's totally okay. Make sure the knees and the toes stay pointed upward. And just welcome some nice deep breaths here. One more deep breath, inhaling, lengthening. Exhale, folding just a little bit deeper. We'll inhale, come back up. We're just gonna bend through the knees. You can do some window shield wipers if you'd like to just add a little movement after that deep stretch. Extending the legs straight out in front of us. Inhaling, reaching up. And exhale, we'll take a forward fold now, legs together. We're going to inhale, halfway lengthen here, taking our right hand to the outside of the left foot. Inhale, extending the left foot and twisting open to the left. We'll come back through center, grabbing this left foot, keeping that left foot flexed. We'll pull it up towards ourselves. And then bending the knee, we're gonna cross it all the way over this leg like a single-legged shoelace. So the left foot is coming towards the right hip. And once again, we're just gonna take a fold over the leg, really allowing that left knee to fall, getting even deeper into the hamstring. Inhaling, we'll lift it back up. Extend the left leg straight out. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, we'll take our forward fold here, seated head to toe. We'll inhale, halfway lengthen. The left hand comes outside of the right foot, and we inhale, lift the right foot up as the right fingertips reach behind us, gazing back to the right. We'll inhale, come through center, flexing the right toes, grabbing the right foot with both hands. We'll pull this right foot up towards us, keeping a straight spine. Exhale, we'll bend the knee and come into a single-legged shoelace, crossing the right foot to the left hip and releasing into a fold over the extended leg. Inhaling, lifting back up. We're just going to release here, bend both knees, plant the hips behind us. Well, you can take whatever variation you like. Actually, you can bend the knees or you can keep it straight, and we're just going to do a reverse tabletop or plank. So planting the hands right behind the hips. We'll inhale, lift the hips, gaze back. Releasing the hips down, we'll release the spine all the way to the ground, hugging the knees into the chest and drawing some circles with those knees. Feeling a nice release through the spine. Wonderful. We'll go ahead, plant the one right leg, planting the right foot on the ground, knee pointing up. We're gonna take this left foot, do a one-legged happy baby. Left hand comes outside the left foot, and we open that left foot out to the side, pulling it back towards the ground. You could extend straight through that right leg too for a little bit of a deeper stretch. Wonderful. We'll bring this leg through center, hugging the knee in towards the chest, and then we'll exhale, cross it all the way over to the other side, the right side, coming into a deep spinal twist. You can use the right hand to pull the left knee down. The left arm opens up to the side, trying to plant the left shoulder blade on the ground. Gazing here over to the left. We'll take some nice deep breaths. Wonderful. Going ahead and bringing that right leg back to center and extending it straight out. We're going to take this other leg in. If you'd like to replicate the other side, we're going to plant the left foot on the ground, knee pointing up. We're going to take our right hand outside of the right foot and pull that knee down towards our armpit, towards the ground, opening up the leg into a half happy baby. If you'd like, you can extend straight through that left leg for a little bit of a deeper stretch. Sometimes it's really nice just to do one leg at a time, just to channel a little bit more awareness into the space. than you would if you would have done both at the same time. Taking a nice deep breath, inhale, we'll bring the knee back in through center, hugging it in towards our chest. And on the exhale, the left hand is going to grab that right knee as you draw it all the way over to the left. Right arm extends out by the side, and we bring our gaze over to the right. Taking some nice deep breaths here. We'll inhale, come back through center, and extend this right leg out to the ground. Extending your arms here, allowing the palms to face up, allow the feet to relax here. We're coming into our final resting posture, Shavasana. If there's anything else you'd like to add to your practice, this is the time. You can go ahead. Otherwise, just welcoming the Shavasana with a nice deep belly breath, filling the body, filling the lungs with as much oxygen as possible. Before exhaling, releasing, letting go of the face, of your shoulders, of the fingers, of the toes. Letting go of any effort to control the breath. Letting go of any effort to control your thoughts, to control the situation. Letting it all go. You can feel free to stay longer in your Shavasana. Much recommended. Just gonna go ahead and start closing the practice. If you'd like to join me here. Taking another deep inhale, filling the belly, filling the ribs, filling the chest. Seeing if you can breathe in just a little bit more air at the end of the breath. And exhale, letting it all go. Starting to wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, roll the wrists and ankles. Inhaling, giving yourself a nice deep body stretch. And rolling onto either side body into a fetal position whenever you're ready, before gently pushing your way up into a seated position. Wonderful. Just coming into a nice, easy seated close. Nice, easy seated pose. Just gonna close the practice with one last breath here. Inhaling, arms overhead. And exhaling, hands to heart center, just gently bowing to yourself, to your light, to your practice. It was such an honor practicing with you. You should be so proud of yourself for all that you do. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Have a
Bye.
wonderful weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.